So please welcome Laurie
hmm
C. Williams, also known as the Canine Diva. Thank you for taking time to speak with us at Urban Media today. So just to talk a little bit about your background, I have a few things written down, but I'm sure there's more you can share because you've been in this game for a long time.
I definitely have. Fill
Yeah.
up a page or two for sure.
Yes. So I'm seeing you've been doing this for over 30 years. So I'm thinking you started when you were 5. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, 2 years old, and
How proud of you.
I would
Yeah.
love to believe that, and
Yeah.
love everybody else too.
Yeah. So, and you have pretty much all the certifications. You are AKC, which is the American Kennel Club certified, the Association of Pet Dog Trainers, Rally Obedience Training,
Mhm.
Canine Good Citizen, and you are the owner of Pub and Iron Canine Fitness and Learning Facility in Virginia,
Right,
correct?
right. And just to make a small clarification, so the
Sure.
AKC doesn't have a certification for dog trainers. I am an AKC licensed judge
Okay.
in several different things. Rally obedience as a farm dog judge. I do temperament test evaluations, and this is all through the AKC. So the
Mhm.
AKC is more of a registration for dogs, and they put on various different licensed events. So I am affiliated with them in that way. But then I do also have dog trainer certifications with various different
Mhm.
organizations as well.
Awesome. And then, of
Yeah.
course, I think the most important thing is that you were a runner up on the Greatest American Dog Show.
We were robbed. We were robbed. We should have won. Everybody watch it on Amazon Prime, and you will agree with me. But anyway,
Well, yeah, you're the winner in our hearts. So we yeah.
yes. I said, what was it? Yeah, I think I can't remember. On American Idol, there was a year where Adam Lambert came in second, and
Mhm.
everybody was like, "You should have won." I'm the Adam Lambert of Greatest American Dog. So,
Yeah. I just point out, remember Ruben Studdard lost. He came in second place too.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so I think of that one too.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
well, again, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. I wanted to start a little bit with the pet therapy training that you provide with the Canine Good Citizen. You're also one of the people who can evaluate a pet to
Yeah,
go.
and that's with AKC as well. Yeah, I evaluate for Canine Good Citizen, but I am also for many years I was an evaluator for therapy dog
Hmm.
testing because that's separate from the CGC, and that was through an organization called Pet Partners,
Hmm.
a very world renowned pet therapy, animal assisted therapy program. So, and I was an evaluator for that for many years.
Mm-hmm. There's a rise in a lot of people with service dogs. So can
Mm,
you talk a little bit about the difference between a therapy dog
yes.
and a service dog?
Yeah, that is I'm glad you asked that question because that is a lot of people are very confused about the differences between the two, and there are very stark differences between the two. So, a therapy dog or a therapy dog team with a handler and the dog, those are dogs that are very well mannered, very well trained. Um, and they are invited places like some of the places you mentioned, hospitals, nursing homes, on the scene at various different crisis events and things like that. But they're invited there. That is the only reason the dogs are able to go. So they're able to go places where pet dogs can't go,
Mm-hmm.
but because they are invited and they are certified or registered through various different organizations. Like I said, the one I'm affiliated with is Pet Partners, but there are others. And so that's what that type of dog would do. That's that job.
Mm-hmm.
Service animal or assistance animal, those are not certified. So
Mm-hmm.
when a lot of people say, I want to get my dog certified to be a service dog, your dog does not have to be certified to be a service dog, but you, as the one needing the assistance, has to have a bona fide either medical or psychiatric disability of some sort. It's you, the person, that determines whether that dog, or actually even many horses can be. There's several different animals that can be service animals, believe it or not. But anyway, the you as the person, whatever challenge or disability you have, and this is according to the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, that's what enables you to have an assistant animal. And that animal must be trained to do something something specific that
Mm-hmm.
they help you with, and therefore you need them to help and assist you with this. If a any type of business or service or whatever doesn't let you in with that dog, they are actually discriminating against you, the person, which is against the law. So the service and assistance animals are allowed to go anywhere. But like I said, they do have to be specifically trained for very specific tasks. And you should be able to, your dog should be able to demonstrate those tasks on site if asked. Now, people can't ask you because, you know, that's another law with the HIPAA. It would be a HIPAA violation for anyone to ask you, well, what do you need them for? And what do you have? Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. But so there is still a lot of honor system involved where, you know, you have to go by the person's word. If you ran a business and you looked at a dog, like, let me give you an example. I had my Maltese, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with what Maltese are. They're little white fluffy dogs. All right. He was my assistant's dog. And I know people would look at me with side eye a lot. So, you know, because they're expecting a German Shepherd, a Labrador. They're expecting a big dog, but dogs can assist in so many things. There are diabetic service dogs that know when your blood sugar is out of whack. There are hearing dogs, and just mentioning those two disabilities because you can't look at a person and tell that, and you can't look at a dog and tell that. So people have to be very, very careful. Now, the other thing too is you can't take your dog in places, even if they are your bona fide service animal, and the dog is acting up. The dog is a nuisance, barking, you know, soiling the area, trying to bite people. No. The dog has to be exceptionally well behaved. And what I usually tell my clients, because I get a lot of people who say, I would like my dog to become a service dog. And I'm like, hey, pump the brakes, because this means a lot of training. Your dog has to be so well trained that they are theoretically invisible to everyone else, meaning they're so well behaved. Like, I thought when I would fly with Andrew, it would be very funny sometimes. People would be getting off the plane and they'd walk by me and they'd see him sitting on my lap. And more than a few people looked at their kids and said, that dog, or they'll say, that dog was on this flight. Or some people say to their kids, that dog was way better behaved than you were, you know. So, but that is what a service animal should be. They should be like invisible. Nobody would even know they're there. If they're in a restaurant, they're under the table, nobody even sees them because they're so quiet and well behaved. So it's a high bar. It's a high bar. And, you know, so when people come to me and they want to turn their pet into that, it's a long road, and it's a road that isn't fair to the dog, because we're pretty much, dogs have to be raised from day one to do that job, because it's not fair if they've been, you know, living the life of a pet, happy-go-lucky, you know, barking when they want to, you know, getting petted by everyone. And then all of a sudden, you're not going to let them do that. All of a sudden, no, now you have a different life. So I don't know that it's really fair to do that. You know, it's a case-by-case basis, but I just think that people need to really understand that. And a lot of people think that therapy, but they mix it up with service. So I said, maybe your dog could be a therapy dog, where they just need to be really pretty good behaved. They don't have to be behaved to the extent of what a service animal would need to be, but they need to, of course, not want to bite people and not want to bark at other dogs and be unruly. They need to be manageable, but it's just not as high of a bar. And they also need to be a dog that wants people to pet them, because some dogs don't. Some dogs don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered. I mean, it's different. So yeah, so they're very distinct jobs, and I'm glad you asked that question, because people get them mixed up all the time.
No, and you did a really great job of delineating between the two.